Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Talking Tuesday. Today, I'm actually here in person with somebody, which is so exciting. I'm here with Stuart from Hartlepool NDC Trust. Hello, Stuart.
Morning.
Thank you for joining me. So, Stuart, do you want to tell people what the NDC Trust is, first off?
Yeah, it was formerly the New Deal for Communities programme, which was a 10-year programme, government funded in 45 of the most deprived areas in the country, ran from early 2000s up to about 2011, 2012. Hartlepool, it was resident-led. Hartlepool got about 65 million over that 10 years, did all sorts of things, mainly around housing market renewal, a lot of demolition, rebuilds, refurbishments, things like Mayfair Street and Angus Street were knocked down as part of it. Bellevue Centre was built and extended upon. Police community support officers in the town. There was all sorts of really good stuff. The trust was formed after that, almost as a legacy organisation. There was a few properties left over, I think 5 properties at the time, so it was to look after and manage those. And we brought forward a Opening Doors, which was a project which was really successful, construction-based project where we refurbish properties, but we train people while we do it. Yeah. So people who are unemployed, those furthest from the labour market, people recovering from mental health problems, addictions. Take a lot of students from the college who can't get the on-site experience that they need for an apprenticeship. And we're about to take on a couple of people through the Kickstart programme, 3 people actually through the Kickstart programme, which is quite exciting.
That is. So what's Kickstart? Kickstart
is a new government initiative where they fund work placement for 6 months, fully fund for, I think it's 16 to 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds. And it's through the job centre, through Job Centre Plus. So they need to be referred onto Kickstart. There's a consortium of voluntary organisations in Hartlepool who have got together and made quite a few placements available. I know some have already recruited. We're just going through the recruitment process at the minute. So we've got 2 construction places, and we will be advertising this week for a business admin and social media placement as well.
Fantastic.
With all 3 of them, what we would like to do is turn them into apprenticeships after the 6 months if we can find the right people. So it's a great opportunity.
Just a shame I'm a little bit too old for it.
Only just.
Only just. So what are you up to these days? Obviously, we had Lisa on the other week talking about the Housing Heroes project, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
What else have you got going on?
Got quite a lot. We obviously suffered a little bit, as everyone did, through lockdown. But we're gradually opening back up. We're hopefully about to start quite a large refurbishment project, which again we'll be looking for volunteers for as well, perhaps for a 4-week work experience placement, and there may be some qualifications attached to that, so some health and safety. There may be sort of level 1 qualifications as well, so anybody will be eligible who's neat. There's no age limit on it, so again they can come direct. They don't need to be referred in off Job Centre, so they can come direct to us if that is of something of interest. And it will be indoors as well, given the weather, which is quite attractive.
Always a bonus.
Yeah, it is with construction at the minute. So yeah, we've got that ongoing. We're currently refurbishing a couple of properties for the Water Trust. They're about to become a landlord for the first time, which is quite exciting. So we're providing support there. We're already a landlord. We're doing up one of our own properties. We've just bought one actually a couple of weeks ago. Again, the Housing Heroes project. So hopefully looking to buy another one in the next couple of weeks as well. That's going really well. I think what we'd like to do, and if people didn't catch Lisa's interview, Housing Heroes is a project for young people about to leave care. They'll come and volunteer with us. They'll work on the property. What they're actually doing is building their own home.
Yeah.
So they'll then move into the property, and through Lisa, we'll provide support around the tenancy. So teach them life skills, how to cook, how to manage their finances, how to live with people the same age, which is a big challenge, and gradually move them towards independent living. Really successful, and hopefully if we can again find the right people, we'll be looking to replicate that project with veterans as well.
Yeah, Lisa mentioned that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, we sort of got quite far down the road with that before COVID came. But obviously we're sort of back to square one again. So we're just finding our own feet at the minute, getting everything back up and running. But going to be kicking that off again, hopefully quite soon. And then been involved in quite a few things over the last few months as well. Something called LARCH, which is Local Access Redkit Cleveland and Hartlepool. Get that in the right order. And what it is, we were chosen as one of 6 places in the UK to receive funding through 2 social lenders have funded 6 areas, and the idea is to grow the social economy.
Right.
So to support existing social enterprises and attract new social businesses, social entrepreneurs. It's a 10-year project. We've got around about £5 million for that time, which is not a lot actually, but we'll be using that money to attract other funding in, and that's already happening. So I think over the 10-year period, we'll see that funding grow and grow. And hopefully exponentially, we'll see the social economy grow and grow. So I've been leading on the governance stream for that, the partnership development work, so designing how the money will be spent, what the decision-making processes are, all of the sort of nuts and bolts, the boring stuff really.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah,
though.
someone has to do it. But alongside that, there's been the enterprise development stream, which is the exciting stuff as to how the money will be spent, what sort of things will be spent on, what sort of innovative support there'll be, business support packages. We're talking about potentially Dragon's Den type competitions where people will come and pitch, and it won't be as harsh as Dragon's Den, obviously, but if you've got a business idea which solves a social issue, there'll be an opportunity to come and pitch, and there's potentially then grant support and business support wrap around that to sort of get your business up and running. And the idea is to move businesses through to not be grant reliant, but to look at borrowing as well, right, to expand. And then that money will be recycled as well. So it's quite a big thing. Potentially going to be a competition for younger people, perhaps university students and things, where come up with an idea to solve a social issue. There's plenty of them. Right. So it's about being creative and entrepreneurial. So that's really exciting. And something been involved in for a couple of years actually now with Hartlepool Carers, amongst others. There's a consortium of 8 organisations in the town looking at housing issues. We managed to get a bit of money through Homes England a while ago to look at how the 8 of us could work more closely together. We formed a new community interest company just before Christmas called Hartlepool Community-Led Housing Group. Very imaginative. And we've got a bit more money, and we've got an architect and a project manager on board, and helped us design a community-led health village. Yes. Which we're not quite ready to go public with to launch yet, but we've got the designs. We've identified some land, and hopefully we'll be going into. Well, we're just waiting on clearance for funding, and once we've got that, we'll hopefully be able to launch that public consultation and go into planning. So really exciting. That'll be different types of supported accommodation for all different needs. So people with dementia, perhaps people with disabilities, perhaps carers, foster families on there. Maybe veterans, maybe young people coming out of care, as I've already mentioned. So what we're going to do is create a real community on there with people with all different sort of needs, and encourage there might be an element of sort of co-living. So people are looking after each other. There'll be places to grow their own veg and things. We may even look at issuing community shares in it. Here's a way of raising some funding, but also to give the community real buy-in, so they've got a financial stake in it doing well. We've seen that happen in a couple of other places with some real success, so that might be an option. So yeah, it's a case of watch this space at the minute, but exciting times ahead.
Loads going on.
And we think it will be the biggest community-led development in the UK if we can get it off the ground. So really exciting for Hartlepool, actually.
Yeah.
And then I guess what else is going on? We've got a bit of, I guess, strategic work in the sector we've been heavily involved with. I think everybody knows Hartlepool has a really vibrant voluntary community sector.
We do.
Loads of great organisations doing loads of great things. Most of the time, people are doing things in their own little bubbles, if you like, and concentrating on their own little areas. And with, I guess, the demise of HVDA a few years ago, there's no real strategic oversight of the sector anymore, no strategic direction. So I held a summit back in, what was it, I think, March, April time, which we had a really good turnout. I think 60 organisations were registered to that. And it was just to sort of start chatting that through, exploring what a strategic partnership might look like. And there's been a couple of work streams come out of that. Everybody was really keen. And again, it's a case of watch this space. Hartlepool, we did a bit of research, and I think collectively the sector is, if not the first, certainly the second largest employer in the town. And then you add in 3,000 or 4,000 volunteers.
Yeah.
It's huge. And somewhere along the line, everybody is impacted by a voluntary community sector organisation, whether that be your kids' football club or netball club, or whether it be Hartlepool Carers or NDC or the hospice or whoever it may be. It impacts on virtually everybody's own life in Hartlepool. So there's a really important role for the sector. The year before COVID, it generated nearly £46 million for the local economy. So it's a big play.
It is.
So how do we best capture that and use that influence the decision makers through government, through local government, influence funders, work more collectively and collaboratively on bigger projects and solving some of the social issues of the town. So we're already looking at some things pretty quickly. And I think longer term, we'll be looking at probably a longer term strategy is how everybody can get involved and play the bit. And hopefully that will sort of generate a much greater turnover for the local economy, because we'll be using each other more, for example. Collectively, we've got a lot more buying power, and a lot more influence. So hopefully that'll bring in a lot more funding. And there'll be all sorts of knock-on effects. So again, to say watch this space.
All sounds so positive, and I think a lot of the time people have such a sort of negative. Obviously, people outside the town have such a negative view of Hartlepool, and it's not true. And just what you've said today just shows that.
I know, and I think that was highlighted more than anything with this recent election campaign.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got the country's media descend on Hartlepool for a couple of weeks leading up to what was a high-profile election, and there was a real contrast with some journalists coming to the town with a preconceived idea of what the town was going to be like. And their stories just exacerbated their preconceptions. So I'll give you an example, and I won't name them, but I was interviewed by one TV company, and actually my interview didn't make the final cut, which is fine. I've got a good face for radio, so I didn't mind that. But the vox pops that they did, they went out and spoke to the public, and every one of them, I think bar one, was people who'd been in the pubs. The pubs had just opened that week, so they were going around the beer gardens at 3:00 in the afternoon. People had obviously had enjoying the newfound hospitality. And with the greatest respect to those who were interviewed, it didn't really paint the town in the best light.
Yeah.
And all of the backdrop shots were of the industry on Teesside and stuff like that, and there was nothing. My interview was down the marina with all the stuff in the background, and the nice stuff didn't
make it.
So I wrote a little piece on my LinkedIn because it was winding me up, that very thing. And what I was trying to encourage the candidates to do was to talk the town up, because you were getting all the election bump through your door every day, and we've had 11 years of Tory cuts, we've had 10 years of Labour mismanagement of the council, Labour this, Tory that, they're all crap. And you're just thinking, well, no wonder we get cast in a negative light, because you're going to be representing us at a local and a national level, and all you're doing is peddling the negativity before you even start. And it was so I was trying to get the message about talking the town up, become an ambassador for the place, even if you're not elected. Sell the good stuff. Tell us how you're going to improve the town, and the sector does that really well.
We do,
but can do it a lot better. Again, this comes back to looking at strategically how can we get that message to the rest of the world that this is a great place. And I think in the end there was some really good coverage came out of the town, and it was painted in a positive light by a lot of the media. But it's now building on that. Hartlepool is still being mentioned because of the election results, so it's trying to capitalise on that, putting out the positive messages, and hopefully the newly elected people will take up that mantle and start waving the flag properly, whether it be down in Westminster or in the city centre here, and saying, right, actually, come on, we've got a lot to be proud of, and we've got Salt Ships coming again in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, that back in 2010, that put us in the spotlight of the world's media, and we came out with flying colours because everything was positive. People in the town were shocked as to how positive things were. I remember I had young people coming up to me saying, can we get the Olympics next? Can we get this next? But mind was open for the first time to loads of possibilities. Elderly people coming saying, I've lived here all my life, and I didn't even know there was this part of the town, where all of your docks were opened up, and they were nearly in tears. It was so touching and wonderful, and sometimes you need to bring the world to Hartlepool to get people here to realise actually
what there really
is. So something like the Tall Ships did that, and we'll do it again. But in the meantime, I think we've all got a responsibility to start talking the town up.
Yeah, completely agree.
Here endeth the preach.
So, obviously, got loads of amazing stuff going on. If anyone wants to get involved with any of it, what should they do?
Just drop us an email through the website. Or my email is stuart.drummond@ndctrust.org.uk. As I say, especially interested in people who are currently out of work, looking for some work experience, come and volunteer, and be mainly painting and decorating with some joinery involved as well. Got an exciting project coming off, hopefully really soon. And then if there are any people interested in the Kickstart positions, as I say, 2 construction, 1 business admin, social media, then go and speak to the job coach at the job centre and ask to be referred. It's not an onerous process for the recruitment. We're going to try and make it as easy as possible. And as I say, what I want is for the Kickstart positions to then lead on to apprenticeships. So they could be here for quite a while if we get the right people.
Fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. I've just realised I haven't had my comments on, so I don't know if anyone has commented.
Probably a good job.
As always, if anyone does have any comments or wants to get in touch, we'll put all of Stuart's details on the page, so you can get in contact with him. But it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you, Stuart. Pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, actually physically joining us. And I'll see everybody next week. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.